Okay, we're back in Excel Chapter 2. We're ready for Skill 6 using the COUNTIF function. And that is a statistical function that's going to count the number of something for us. We just have to give it the criteria. What do we want it to look for, and what range do we want it to look in? So to do that, the first thing we need to do is tell Excel where we want the number to appear. So in this case, it's B10. So we're going to take our mouse and make sure we have cell B10 selected. We're going to come up to our Formulas tab, and now we're going to go to More Functions, and we're going to look at Statistical. Now they're in alphabetical order. We're going to come down to COUNTIF, because we want to count if it says seasoning. We want the range G14 to G18, so we can click right here in our lookup box, and then we're going to select the range G14 to G18, and then we're going to click here to go open back up our dialog box. Now we need to tell it what we want it to look for. We want it to look for seasoning, so we're just going to type in seasoning. It's very important to type it in correctly. If you had typed it incorrectly, even in your document, it wouldn't show up. So it's one reason why it is very important to be accurate with your typing when you are in Excel. So we're going to click on OK. And we can see here in our formula bar, it says equals COUNTIF the range G14 to G42 if it says seasoning. And again, my IT lab just made the range larger for us from G18 to G42, so you didn't have to go down and select all of that. Normally you would have had to put in G14 through G42. So we can see there are 12 instances of seasoning. So now we're ready to help our stock people know what it is that they need to order. We're going to insert a function that's going to automatically display the word order if the value in A, which is our quantity in stock, is less than 125, or if it's okay if we have more items in stock than 125. We want this number or this word to appear in cell H14, so we're going to select and make H14 our active cell. We're going to come back up here. This time we're going to go to the logical group, and we are going to use the if. Our logical test is if A14 is less than 125. If A14 is less than 125, we want the word order to appear in H14. However, if it's not true, if A14 is larger than 125, then we want OK to appear in cell H14. So then we're going to click OK. And you can see it is OK. In my IT lab, they've went ahead and copied that formatting for us down, and you can see we have to go clear down to Bicentennial Beef before we need to order it. And if we arrow down on the page, you can see right at a glance, pretty much at a glance, you can see which ones we need to order. Another thing we can do to make that even easier to read is to do what's called conditional formatting. With conditional formatting, we can tell Excel that if a certain cell has certain information, then we want it to be a different color. We want to highlight it in some way so that it becomes more obvious to the reader. So to do that, first we're going to select our range H14 to H22. We're going to come up here to our Home tab, because that's where we're going to find the conditional formatting option. And in this case, we want to highlight some text rules, because we want to highlight text that contains some particular information. We already know that we want it to have text. We want it to format text that says order. So we're going to type in order here. And now we're going to tell it we want it to be formatted with bold italic. Now there are some default formatting that you can use, but in this case we want to go to custom format. We want it to be bold italic, and we want it to be the color, the red accent to font color. And then we're going to click OK, and then OK. And now you can see in our spreadsheet, anytime where order appears, it is now red. So next time somebody comes in and they're checking the stocks, and say our paprika Hungarian sweet, somebody comes in and they buy 50 packets, it goes down to 100. Over here in H14, it's going to say order in a red font. There's another conditional formatting where they do data bars, so you can kind of see in just in a picture, okay, how much of an item is in stock already. So we're going to use what's called data bars. So we're going to come back up here to conditional formatting, and you can see we have data bars we can choose from. Before we can click on this data bars though, we need to select the range, and so reading down the instructions here in the bottom, we say apply conditional formatting to display orange data bars with a gradient fill in the range A14 to A22. We need to select that range. So we're going to go to A14 down to A22 and back to conditional formatting. This time we're going to go to data bars, and we want the gradient fill orange, and now you can see here, like here's 425. You can see bars get larger if the numbers are larger.